Rattle's dreams come true? Who is the mysterious Don? Where does Roll of Rattle and Roll fit into this? Why did Mr. Rattle stow away to America? What is a jam? Where did Mr. Rattle get counterfeit money? Why doesn't Mr. Rattle have whiskers? All these and other questions will be answered in the first and following issues of Rattle and Roll.
Twisted Fairy Tales. The YouTube show you love to watch, bring you an anthology truly top-notch. Over 14 stories and over 80 pages, rest assured this is not for all ages, so sit back in your chair, drink up your ale, and grab your copy of Twisted Fairy Tales. Showcasing creators, both old and new, the Bargain Bin knew just what to do. Cool art, cool stories, all from cool scripts. To top it off, we added some sexy chicks.
Bargain bin, let's see what crowd is in. Baba Dave and his hair. He's old man, but please don't stare. Alright, he's on the bargain bin. Now this just in, it's just in. Our new guy who just snuck in. He takes a joke, he just don't care. He's a regular gummy bear. New boy, here on the bargain bin. Bonus section, it's area black. For the furries, he's got your back. Along with Neve, that rhymes with Steve. Can she weave? She'll knit you a sleeve. Whoa, they're on the bargain bin. It's on Monday night. If you're lucky, it's on time. It's a pile of shite, but to miss it is a crime. Just out the gate, it's Rob GP. He's not a dog, but he'll make you pee. Up for a laugh, he'll laugh at oat. If it falls flat, he'll get his coat. Whoa, we are the bargain bin. You hear the bargain bin, huh? This is the bargain bin.
Hey! Hello everyone, welcome back to the Bing Bong Show on a Monday night. As always, here for your regularly scheduled entertainment. Before we start, please all put RIP in the chat for Robert, who can't be with us today. And we will get on with today's show. So before we start, I am your host, as always, 2015 Minecraft champion and endlessly addicted to all things lemon scented. It is I, Arya Blackness. Now, the second host of the day, his grandmother describes him as pretty fly for a white guy. It's Bristolian Dave.
Yeah, give it to me, baby. All right, me babbers. And Granny Bristolian says, all right, me babbers as well.
It was nice of her to provide that quote for today.
It was. I'm glad you reached out.
Yeah. And last but not least, Dave, you know what they say about guys with big feet, right?
Big socks.
Massive toes. It's Justin.
I got scared. I thought I know where he's going with this, but you derailed last minute. Thank you.
Now I'm just picturing these big ass toes, like just.
If I was any younger, I'd put my feet up to the camera and show you, but I'm getting too old for that shit now.
Oh, no, I don't like feet. Feet are nasty,
No.
man. Toe jam.
Well, apparently, a good pair of feet will get you some followers on OnlyFans.
It's true. It's true.
Mhm.
I've earned a few quid.
Mm.
Yeah. Remember,
Sticking
guys,
your feet in custard. It works.
Yeah,
DM Justin for 10% off OnlyFans.
yeah. If I ever do that, you'd be the last to know.
imagine Justin doing OnlyFans feet pics. His feet would be really small in the distance from how far away he'd be taken.
He'd need need one of those fucking selfie sticks to hold behind him.
Or he's a bit of sock stuck in my toenail.
Yeah. Oh,
Point of
God.
view here,
What,
go to the top of the stairs so you can get a proper picture of my feet.
what a thought that would be. My
Welcome
skanky ass
everyone to the
feet.
show where
Yeah.
we talk about comics and normal
Yeah.
things.
Well, we would like to start off by apologising for Rob's absence. He ran out of his supply of Just for Men and had to go up into the wilderness to find some more. So hopefully he'll be back with a full and fresh head of hair next week.
This is not Rob who you see in the chat. Your eyes deceive you.
Yes,
Trust me,
that is-
I am.
that is his doppelganger.
Yes, that's his wife on the.
Yeah. Hi, Mrs. Rob G. Price Tunes.
Yeah, hi.
Let's say hello to everyone in the chat. Here's someone I haven't seen for a while. It's Will from Creators Outlet.
Yeah.
Hey,
dude.
Will.
Good to see you.
I love Will.
He says, "Wait, have you finished Tailless?" Bollocks. Yes. Spoiler alert: Tailless is done. We'll get into that a bit later. Good to see you, Michael. Yes, new show, new
Yeah.
habit. Because, like Dave says, we are sexy professionals now.
Yes, we are.
That needs to be like a tagline for the show.
Chances are I'll get my copy of Taylor's before I get my copy of Cyberfrog.
Hmm.
I
Tuki.
will win that race. I'm determined to.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Hello, Mr. Thomas Took. Good to see you here. Bloody brilliant to see you here. Good to see my Welsh friend, Graphic Goose.
Shamay.
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 Yeah.
Is that
Shemai-
Welsh or something?
Pronounced Shamay.
Shamay.
Yeah.
Shamay.
But you're doing
Shawarma.
okay. Shawarma, yeah.
Shawarma.
His grandmother needs new glasses. She meant to say he's pretty fat.
Oh,
That's horrible.
it's all right. He's got a comment for you
He's
too.
got you as well.
But Will's on it tonight, man. I remember that, Will. I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
And what's Michael saying? Michael's got Cyberfrog, but still.
Thanks,
hasn't
Mike.
read it. Yeah, rub it in much.
Yeah,
me
cheers.
too. I got it. I haven't read it yet.
Shut up, Dave.
Which you would have seen if you tuned into last week's show. Which, if you didn't, you can catch up after this show.
Mm.
I mean, it's there. It's on YouTube. So
Yeah.
It's
well,
easy
it
to
is.
find. Like, it's not behind a locked door or nothing. Just
I think mine is.
fat people have the most fun. It's true.
Yeah.
yeah.
With food, anyway.
So, on to our first segment of the night. Over to you, Dave.
Ms. Marvel is dead. Deader than Rob.
Oh.
The Plot Holes makes a brand new comeback and is now going to stores.
Is this
That's
me?
that's
Oh,
your
I'm
cue,
sorry.
Justin.
So I wasn't sure what direction we were going in because you two were like both really brief with your size. What the fuck is that all it's saying about these?
That's just a headline. Come on. Say
Oh.
your headline.
Dove has partnered with Epix Games to take a stand against overly sexualized women in gaming.
Perfect.
I just realized I've been using the wrong.
Yes,
wrong
you did.
overlay. Back to you, Dave.
Miss Marvel is dead. Deader than Rob.
Yeah.
There we go. Recapped. So, are we covering the Miss Marvel thing first then, I guess?
Yeah,
Indeed.
do it.
All right. Yeah, so if you did before this show, I did put a video up of my own views on this, which we'll debate now anyway. But you can go watch that on my channel after the show, not during after.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was leaked a few days ago, last week, that Miss Marvel will be dying in the Amazing Spider-Man number 26. Why? Because that's basically the writer Zeb Wells'
Yeah.
whole thing through this whole Amazing Spider-Man series. Just because it's quite interesting, the timing of it, considering she hasn't had a book for the last couple of years, really. She's just been put in a side part on this, and obviously she's got her own TV show now, and the movie coming out in November, The Marvels. So why kill her off? It was quite interesting, really, with the backlash that came from this, and since making my video this morning, there has been rumor that apparently Marvel might have actually leaked this themselves.
I would not be surprised if they did so. But, okay, here's a question for the group: who watched the Miss Marvel Disney Plus show? Go on, Dave. What's your thoughts on the show?
As I said in my video, I actually enjoyed it. It wasn't great all the way through. There were parts of it that were stupid, but watching it, I did actually enjoy the show. Now, for me, I feel like they made the character better in the series than they did in the comic books. The one in the series was actually, I felt it was more relatable. I felt the power was better because it didn't make her feel like a rip-off of Mr. Fantastic. Thing that annoyed me is they referenced to her possibly being a mutant, which is incorrect. She's an Inhuman, which is one of the reasons I mentioned that they could have possibly killed her off in the comics, is so they can bring her back and line her up, her powers, her mutantness, apparently, more in line with the MCU.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to approach it from a slightly different angle. Marvel has a chronic problem of not aligning their comics with their movies.
100%.
In that, remember when the first Avengers movie was out? The Avengers comprised Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Black Widow, Thor, Hawkeye. The Avengers in the comics at that time were the all new, all different Marvel Avengers. So Nova, Miss Marvel, Manly She-Hulk. I forget the others, but they weren't the typical Avengers that you see. Major issue for anyone who's watching a movie and then wants to read a comic about those characters. And then the same problem here, right? They've just released the Disney Plus show. They're about to release the Marvel's movie, and they're killing off the star character. Seems like either really poor timing or they understand that this character isn't going to make them any money.
So I did have another theory on why they've killed her off at this point.
Pete, before we carry on,
and
I'll
get to Pete's point in a minute as well, because I got something to say on that, Mr. Gilmore. The other reason I think they could have possibly killed her off is because you've got the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse #2 coming out, like literally in a month. Now, they've been wanting to get Gwen and Miles Morales Spider-Man to be a thing for a while. Miss Marvel is kind of in the way of that because her and Miles Morales also kind of have a thing. So I reckon they've killed her off so they can get these two together in the comics to match up better again with their Spider-Verse movie, so that there's more synergy in it. Although that would then interpret it as Marvel actually understanding that their marketing needs to line up, because like you said, with the Avengers team, what they should have had at that time with Hulk, like you said, Hulk, Black Widow, Captain America, Iron Man, and Hawkeye, is each one of them should have had their own series going on at the time, and there should have been an Avengers comic which had all 5 of them in. That should have been there on the market. That should have been in the cinemas. As you walk into the cinema with all these comics there, ready for people to read, these trade paperbacks of all the people, all the heroes that are in that movie. But for some reason, they fucked up royally on the marketing. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
In my opinion on this ties into something that Ari has just said, in that Marvel has a problem lately with making characters that are quite frankly boring and uninteresting. And to me, Miss Marvel was one of those. I mean, she hasn't got a current series at the moment, has she, Dave? It was cancelled.
No, she hasn't had one for, I think it's a year and a half, 2 years now.
And when you look at Captain Marvel's previous series, I think she's had 9 or 10 series because they all keep getting cancelled due to low sales. Miss Marvel, whilst I appreciate that she is a diverse character, she's completely uninteresting. And that's one of the problems the Marvel company has with their current writers, is that they don't create interesting characters. And Miss Marvel, to me, was made more to be a advertising gimmick to draw in a different readership, and failed miserably. And also, with regards to a Disney Plus series, I never watched it because it just didn't appeal to me. But what I do know is the first episode, I can't remember how high it tracked in the Nielsen ratings, but it did track quite high. But by the last episode, it didn't even make it into the top 10 viewership figures. And with this new movie that's coming up, if you haven't got Disney Plus and you're going to see it, good luck, because you ain't going to know jack shit about her. And I think they're killing her off to make some kind of stuff, but at the same time, rid themselves of the character. It's just quite frankly uninteresting.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to be horrible, because it's a good time to say I'm going to say it later on. But
yeah. No, I agree with what you're saying. Yours kind of links to what Peter said. Is it's Miss Marvel, she sucks. End of. Now, for me, I'm one of those people that I don't believe there's such thing as a bad character. I believe there's only a bad writer. A good writer should be able to take any character and make a good story, make you actually want to care about the character and move them along by developing the character's personality, by developing their power set, by developing the story behind them and in front of them. But the crop of writers they've got at the moment aren't able to do that.
No.
They're not able to do that. This is the problem. Like, I reckon if someone like Pete gave it a go to come up with a Miss Marvel comic, I reckon he'd probably come up with a pretty good story that would be a hell of a lot interesting than if anything she's had in her, what was it, 10-year existence?
Yeah.
So,
because
you mean Pete Gilmore, right?
Yeah, Pete Gilmore.
Yeah, I remember.
That's a challenge, Pete. Write me a Miss Marvel comic, right? Draw some sketchy outlines, and then we'll review it on the show for you.
No, what has struck me throughout this and other examples around it is that the writers go with a completely wrong approach, where they start with a character and then build a story around that character. Hence what I think happened with Miss Marvel. But as I can't believe I'm going to quote this guy, Josh Whedon said a while ago, the story comes first, and then you build characters to fit that story. That didn't happen with Miss Marvel, and this is why we have this problem now. The same sort of thing happened with the Batwoman series. I saw that advertised as a lesbian Batwoman fighting her own demons. Really? That's your advert? And the same thing's being done with The Acolyte on Disney Plus. And they advertise the fact that it's a female-centric Star Wars. Cool, all right, what's the story? Nothing. So when you see that approach being taken, that's when you have to worry, and it's been proven with Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Is
female-led not enough plot for you to go on, Justin?
No, because
kind of bigot.
Well, it's female-led by a Pakistani Muslim who is also part American, apparently. And she got big hands.
She got big hands.
Sounds like no. Careful, Dave.
I have no problem with any stories with a female main character, but it's got to be a good story.
That's the thing, and I think part of it, the fact that she is in today's day and age with today's crop of writers in the mainstream, I think the fact that she is female, and Muslim, a lot of writers are afraid to push the boundaries with the character.
Yeah,
They're
I agree
afraid
with
of
that.
offending people. They're afraid of making a mistake and getting called out on Twitter for it.
Yeah.
Because the Twitter mob who don't buy books, the Twitter people, if the amount of people that were angry at this and calling this racist, sexist, misogynistic, whatever they want to call it, the amount of people who were doing that and were so-called crying about it actually went and bought the books, she'd still have a book right now.
Yeah.
She'd be on like issue
Yeah.
50, 60, 70 by now. But they
Mhm.
don't do it because they don't buy
No.
books. They don't buy books. They don't buy movies, comics, TV series. They don't buy none of it. All they do is signal. Don't listen to
Mhm.
Twitter. If you're making a book, don't listen to Twitter. All right?
Which is another reason why I'm quite happy that this writer's strike is still going on, and I hope it continues, because then we might sieve some shit out of the cesspool that's going on over there.
You know what though? A lot of those writers have fucked themselves with this writer strike. It's come
Yeah,
at
it's
such a
funny as
bad
fuck.
time.
Yeah,
Streaming
it's funny
services
as hell.
ain't making money right now. Disney
No, they're
lost
not.
money. Netflix loses money. They're losing subscribers. They're cutting all the shows.
Yeah,
They ain't gonna get what they want from the writer's strike. All this gonna
No.
happen, and hopefully a lot of the shit writers will go.
that's what I'm hoping. Yeah,
But it's gonna be dialed right back. They've cut off their nose to spite their face with this one. But that's a
Mhm.
different story. We won't go into
Yeah,
that
it is.
because that's a long one.
Mm,
I feel like that's a good point for a transition there.
go for it.
And in other news, let's take that off the screen. Sean Gordon Murphy is back with a massive announcement.
No, it's not.
So his comic book imprint, Massive, has announced a new flagship line launch title. And the cool thing about this is it's targeted for retail rather than crowdfunding. So I'm sure people in the chat would have seen this campaign because it did really well on Indiegogo.
Surprisingly.
I don't know a lot about Sean Gordon Murphy, but you hear his name all the time.
Yeah, he wrote I think it was the Batman Black and White series. I think it was called on DC, and it did quite well. But because he did front cover for Bigfoot Bill and Doug TenNapel, he got his name dragged through the mud over it, and actually behaved like a whiny little piss baby on Twitter for a while afterwards. And then obviously when the comic industry went to pot when COVID hit, he crowdfunded the Plot Holes, and it looked a very underwhelming book, to be honest with you. I don't know how well it did. I assume you're about to pull it up.
Yeah, well, I have it up on screen, and it did 3,248 backers. It did just over £200,000.
Mm-hmm.
So just a little bit successful in indie comic in crowdfunding
Well,
terms.
I was going to back it because it looked intriguing to me, but it was £25 for the book and £25 for the postage. And I just thought, no, I don't think so. And then I began hearing stories much later on that people were getting their books damaged because the packaging was subpar. So I'm glad that I didn't in the end.
Okay. The point of this story is that he is now looking to push his imprint into retailers, which is interesting. What's your thoughts, though, if we didn't like the first book? I'm thinking maybe it's still a positive for indie comics in general. I mean,
yeah, I'll give him his
anything
dues.
that is different to the mainstream is a positive, right?
He's doing his thing, his own thing, and I think it's good. I don't know. There's Plot Holes, yeah. Plot Holes wasn't my thing, but I don't know what else he's done. But I hope he's successful because we need more alternatives out there and more new characters than the same old shit recycled over and over again. So whilst my feelings towards him are a little negative because of the Plot Holes and the way that went down, I hope he is successful in his other ventures.
Yeah, I think for me, any comic that isn't a mainstream comic getting into shops is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see it as a bad thing. No matter if you agree with the writer or not, the more indie comics that are in comic shops and actually selling, the more chance of these publishers picking up more titles, new publishers are rising and getting into comic shops. It just increases the chance of comic shops also willing to take a chance on indie comics as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's a good looking book. From the visuals we see here, it's pretty good
Yeah.
looking. Someone else that he's achieved, and we'll see how this plays out, but he's actually turned this into a franchise now, and
Uh-huh.
announced that there'll be 2 spin-off comics as well releasing into retail, which is pretty cool. I mean, that's the goal for everyone. I mean, Sean Gordon Murphy is a bit of a bigger name than us we crowdfunders, but maybe this is a step in the right direction for the indie comics movement. What do we think?
Yeah. I think so.
I think
Like
it's
I
a good
said,
thing.
Yeah, like I said, I want him to be successful. He's made the smart move of not being on Twitter anymore, because he was getting treated really shitty by a lot of the other professionals. So I think that's because he's got that one less distraction and doesn't do 6-hour fucking live streams. He'll be able to put out good books in a reasonable time frame. So yeah, I wish him all the success in the world.
And what's his imprint called? Is it Massive? Was that it?
Oh, Massive. Yes.
Massive, yeah. I think they're kind of so there's Massive now. All right, there's Whatnot as well. Whatnot are starting to put out some good stuff and taking indie comics and putting them out too. So yeah, things it's definitely looking up for indie creators.
Yeah,
indeed. Right, on to guys in the chat. Let us know what you think of that. And I can see everyone's just brought up Ray Stevenson. So yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Oh,
more
man.
on
Rest in peace, my man.
Wow, he was only 58. 58.
Yeah, what a shame.
Crazy.
Yeah, always a shame to see someone go like that.
Mm.
On to our next headline.
The Dove advert. Now, I watched this and I thought this was fucking hilarious. So, Dove have partnered with Epic Games' Unreal Engine to take a stand against overly sexualized women in gaming. This resulted in a CGI advert that featured a woman fighting against a monster in a stage fight.
Monster.
Monster. Monster. My English
That's a
just went
bit real.
against a monster in a staged fight, who then goes behind the scenes and removes some clothing, revealing she's fat. I'm not saying plus size because it's a
Plump.
stupid saying.
Plump.
Fat.
Plus size.
No.
Rotund.
She then goes out and fights the monster as she actually is. The ad was designed to build the self-esteem and body confidence in younger players, i.e. make them feel okay they're fat. Thomas Ostiglia, if I'm saying his name right, the executive director of Lola Mullenloo, the company behind the advert, is quoted as saying, "This represented an opportunity for Dove to talk about inclusion and representation in gaming, using animation for the first time ever. After a research study," he didn't say what one, from Dove, nor did he supply any links to this, showed that 60% of girls and 62% of women feel misrepresented in gaming. Bullshit. Because I have spoken with many girls and women who play games and they don't give a toss as long as the game is good. As an example, I have 2 beautiful daughters who I love you both very much. And what are they playing at the moment? The new Zelda game on the Switch. And they love it. And they don't give a shit they're playing as a bloke. There's another lady I've not spoken to her about it, but I've seen what she said about it. She spent over 500 hours playing Hitman because it's her power fantasy, playing as this bald bloke ridding the world of various evils with his a hot boss directing him what to do. I don't buy this in the slightest because representation is bullshit. I think it's a case of these creators, and I'm not obviously targeting Dove as creators because they're not.
Like fucking soap brand.
Yeah, as not liking what they see, so they're inserting themselves into the story as opposed to telling a decent story, because representation means nothing when compared to escapism.
100%.
That is the thing here. It reminds me of that Valiant miniseries, Faith, about the overweight blogger who's a superhero, because obviously all bloggers are overweight.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
the series sold minuscule amounts. There was even a variant cover where she's posing with Hillary Clinton, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's not on the
this-
nose.
Yeah, and this shit just winds me up because it's people doing self-insert characters and not what they know people want to read. It goes back to that, I can't remember her name, but the writer for DC, I think it is, who is a black lesbian disabled woman who actually put a black disabled lesbian woman in a comic where she I forget her name, but I'm not going to bother looking it up, where she puts in this character in the same condition as her, making out with the main character in the comic.
Yeah.
It also reminds me of
woman, though, she's
Yeah.
a fucking bitch. If you
yeah,
like
she is.
looking
I've
at her
seen her.
stuff on Twitter, she is one of the most vile fucking
Yeah.
people I've ever seen. Like,
And-
bleh, nah, fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And it also reminds me of the book I Am Not Starfire, where Nightwing and Starfire's daughter, who looks nothing like them, by the way, is a midget black goth who is a lesbian. And you look at the picture of the writer, and she looks eerily similar to the main character. And
Yeah, self-inserts.
yeah, they are blatant self-insert characters, and that's what I think this is. Because every woman I've known and spoken to about video gaming, they don't give a toss about this stuff. And to say that they've got this survey, I think they went and asked some very specific individuals, not regular types.
Yeah.
And
There's
I'll finish.
No way.
Yeah, I don't believe it. And I'll finish off on this funny little note. The same company that owns Dove, the parent company, they also own Ben and Jerry's. So make what you will of that one.
That's a good point. That there's always to these things. There's always an ulterior motive.
Yeah,
So, yeah, that's actually ridiculous.
yeah,
But yeah,
This-
I completely 100% agree. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, this is the problem with a lot, like most media now, is that the people that are trying to get into it for diversity representation's sake aren't people that appreciate the actual mediums. The people that appreciate the mediums appreciate escapism. Now, don't get me wrong, you can have, this is more related to movies and books and stuff that are more down to earth and more sort of like on the nose with these things. And there's a place for those, absolutely. But when it comes to things just standard like a video game where you're chopping down like fucking orcs or something like that, and orcs aren't racist before any fun fucking starts with that shit.
yeah,
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You will any kid playing a video game will look at all the characters. They won't go, this one looks like me, I'm going to play that. No, they'll go, this guy has rippling muscles. He looks fucking badass with a big ass battle axe. I am picking that guy. I want to be that guy because that guy's a fat shit who's carrying a little mace and he's no good. You see, escapism is key, and that is why people in the world are being and turning into absolute cunts, if I'm honest.
yeah,
Because they don't have that time out of their life. Everything that they so-called go through or experience or care about has to be put into every facet of the media that they consume. No, escapism is meant to get away from that so you can clear your mind and think more clearly, to open it up, not to just keep it in the same echo chamber in your head. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Because one of the great responses I saw to this was, I forget the guy's name. He's on Twitter as G Prime something or other. He did a 4-panel comic of a fat Tomb Raider trying to climb up a cliff, but she runs out of energy and just falls back down. Which I thought was appropriate. And it also made me think of that whole argument where, for the Tomb Raider reboot trilogy, which by the way didn't sell that great, they dumbed down the looks of Lara Croft, most notably her boobs. And at first I was like, yeah, whatever. But when I saw the picture comparisons, I thought, yeah, they actually did. Because it seems to be this whole, yes, thank you, Mike. It seems to be this whole thing of dumbing down looks of hot women characters as well. And coming from the perspective of someone who's wrote books with female main characters, I don't do it for representation purposes. I do it because I can explore something new.
But did you ever notice with the dumbing down of the female representation, they don't ever mention dumbing down on the male side of things. Like they don't
Oh,
want to
no.
take away the big Ripley muscly guys and have
No,
some
not at all.
overweight dad bod looking
Mhm.
motherfucker. Like what is that shit? That ain't a fucking video game character. I'm
That-
sorry. Just
That is Dora the Explorer.
that is the story of the
oh,
Explorer
beautiful.
after too many
Yeah.
fucking tacos. Like no, fuck off.
But I mean,
Jesus Christ.
it also makes me think of Overwatch, where they made
Yeah.
strides to include fat characters and all that. And what happened to them last week? They've chosen to cancel a massive update to their game because it doesn't go with their vision. And there are people that have paid $70 or so for that game that aren't going to get a complete experience. So they've just pissed all over their customers.
Yeah. The
Like I
thing
said,
is,
this stuff really winds me up because the people that whinge about this stuff, they put representation before story, and
Yeah.
that is where you fail every time.
the thing is, right, that there are fat characters out there. There are fat adventure characters. You can have them. You can have like the fat Viking looking dude who swings a big sort of fucking battle axe or something like that. You can have that. I've played as those
Mhm.
characters.
Well, it
But
makes
that's
sense
not
from
the
that.
norm. That's not the norm in these things, and nor should it be.
No,
Because a lot of the time, speaking as someone who has personal experience being a rather fat fucker, there's a lot of stuff fat people can't do. All right, there's a lot of
Yeah.
shit that we can't do that just doesn't make any sense in video games. Like she goes out to battle now. How she is? She took off all her armor. She goes out to battle. She got no armor. She gonna die. Firstly,
yeah,
okay, because she took off all her armor. Secondly, she runs halfway across that battlefield. She's gonna have a heart attack. She's gonna need to have a break. Okay.
yeah,
We don't run that far. We don't run that fast. Okay. She's a bigger target
hmm
for cannonballs or anything that's getting shot at her.
yeah. It also reminds me. I'll finish on this bit. There was a skit I saw from this comedian. I forget his name, where he said, "If Lizzo is so beautiful, why do women get offended when I say they look like Lizzo?"
Yeah, that's a good point. Lizzo's a complete never thing.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
That's
seen
a
that
whole
photo
other
she put
level
up.
of
I was
this
like,
madness. There's
It's a whole other. No, I won't say that.
a whole
Moving on.
Let me draw your attention to the chat because we've had an amazing chat so far today. So, guys,
Yeah.
keep it going. Dave now feels represented.
Yeah, Mr. Gilmore.
Had to bring that one up. But Hail Ice Cream, good to see you back in the chat.
Hey, ice cream.
And Goose is saying Dove would sell more soap to bigger people because they need more larger surface area.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. That's true. That's why you shower
Pete
gel
says-
and not soap.
We need more grumpy middle-aged protagonists who hate everything and everyone. Just saying. Indeed.
Will that make you feel
Yeah.
seen, Pete? Will it?
There's a movie with that sort of character in it. It's called Gran Torino. Check it out.
Yeah, it's a good film. I like it.
Indeed. Goose said one as well that I wanted to draw attention to. Personally, I don't mind female characters having big boobs.
Same, Goose. Same.
But there's a difference between having like normal big tits and having fat tits. It's not the
Mm.
same thing. It's not the same thing. One
Sorry.
that's how I broke my leg. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
See, we can't do it. I tried. It doesn't work.
So I don't think we'll play the video, but you
No,
guys
it's
get
fine.
the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so stay tuned for.
And I'm sorry, but sorry, I gotta add one more thing. There's no
Go
way
on.
she would fit in that fucking armor anyway.
No.
Not if
If
she
you
was
look-
actually just generally like that size. Like we don't squeeze down that well.
Yeah, if you watch the animation, that
Yeah.
that corset that she has on would give her broken ribs from the amount
She
of
would
compression.
die.
she's
And
doing.
cut off her blood circulation.
Like her inner organs would be pierced from her ribs
Yeah.
if that was the case. She did it that
Yeah.
tight. It's just, and this isn't a male female thing. This is an everyone thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dove, stick to soap. What you
Yeah,
good at.
please.
Yeah, because I like your soap. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was
Amazing.
going to mention about a comment Shane was saying earlier about, but I'll leave that. That's a bigger topic for another day, I think.
Mm.
Guys in the chat, we appreciate your support. Keep it going. We're going to move on to our next segment. that's a nice overlay, isn't it?
I like it. I was like,
yeah, I like
it.
that one actually. That was good.
Brilliant. Right. Yes. So crowdfunding galore is a segment where we each take a campaign. We have a quick look at it and see how it's doing, and then see how long's left, and just quickly show it off for you. Really.
Hmm.
So this one, we had him on the show before, Aaron. It's called Immortal
Nice guy.
Rising. Yeah. Yeah. Very nice guy. This was a very good campaign, so good that I actually backed it myself.
So did
I'm
I.
looking forward to receiving this one. It's still available. We have 12 days left.
Can I
12
jump in a
days
second quickly? Dave, shall we see who gets it first, me or you?
Oh, yeah, I'll get it first. Don't worry about
Yeah.
that. You can get the digital for £4. So if you, that's one thing I do like about when people put a cheaper digital version, like a much
Yeah.
cheaper digital version, is that if you're not sure if you're gonna like something, a digital version for £4, like that's the price of a coffee these days.
Mhm.
Like it's decent. You can get a physical book for £16. You do get the PDF as well. There is a bundle of 2, so if you've got a friend you want to share it with, I know comics people, nerdy people don't really have friends because we're nerds, but there are.
You've got each other, Dave.
I
got you, Dave.
Yeah, really, really cool stuff. The artist is Jose Garcia. He's done a ton of stuff now in the comic sphere. He has worked with Clownfish TV. Those guys, I like those guys. Their news is
Yeah.
very impartial. It's very good. Art looks really good. It's really like I want to say neon. It's quite. I don't know,
I
but
like
then
that. I really do.
the reason I backed, if it's on here, where is he? I'm sure he's on here. Not that one.
That's the reason you backed Dave.
That.
Yeah.
That, because I'm a massive fan of Dynasty Warriors and Romance of the Three Kingdoms. This guy reminded me like of a well over the top Lu Bu motherfucker. He looks sick. Like just look at the swords. Like it's so over the top, but somehow it still works. Like it's just really cool. Like I don't know who this guy is.
That's amazing artwork.
Yeah.
How does
The
how
artwork
does
is what
someone just
swayed me
like,
as well.
Really cool. So you got his whole team there.
Yeah.
So it's actually a whole team of people working on this one. So you got Aaron, who's the writer and co-editor. Alia, maybe we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Chris Fisk, we know Chris Fisk from Infinitale, which I have the book. I haven't read it yet, but I will.
Speaking of
should start reading
Chris,
more
it's
books.
a different one, but
There he is.
Hey.
So as I said, it's still available. So it's really cool. There is an add-on as well. I think they said this was like,
Yeah, the secret add-on.
yeah, this was. I'm trying to remember. Was this like
It was the original artist he used, wasn't it? Probably changed
Oh,
to the
that was
new
it.
guy. Because I wanted to back this perk, but $100 was just too much for me. So
Yeah.
I backed the version with the comic style art trading cards.
And
Nice.
then he's on. So he's £3,237, which equates to he's just past $4,000 there, $4,028.
Well,
So
nice.
that's good. He's smashed
Amazing.
through the target, and yeah, I would recommend it. It looks good, and from my understanding, I think he's going to be shipping this very quickly because I think he said the book's either almost done or done. So check it out, guys. I will post a link in the chat now for you.
Amazing. So that's a cool looking book, guys. Go check it out when Dave posts the link. And on to the next one. You may have seen this making a splash over the weekend.
This looks hilarious.
So this is AR-13L, which when I saw the name the first time, I thought that is one of the best puns that you could have come up with. And I'm sure everyone gets the idea from what they're looking at there. It is super cool. Looking at this campaign, another Jose Garcia cover on this one. This guy is very talented indeed. There's so much action in any of Jose's work. It is incredible. I'm sure just from that cover alone, you get the concept of what's going on here.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Mercenary for hire, Ariel the Little Mermaid. It oozes sex appeal.
This is fucking
it's just
brilliant.
Banger from Arrow Comics. Banger. There's another one for you.
Pun intended.
It feels wrong to give it to myself, but I've done 2 now, so maybe in the next one. But yeah, multiple covers. This one is really cool. This is so 90s Image Comics. This image here. I haven't heard of this guy before, Eric, but that is cool. I was checking this out, and the anatomy is awesome. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks great. Really cool, interesting interior artwork. This lady is. I zoomed into the wrong bit, but
hello.
There's a page. This crab's mouth cringes me out.
It looks like a bottle, except teethy.
Brilliant.
I assume he's called Sebastian or something similar. And yeah, you guys should go and check this one out. It's one on fundmycomic.com. We don't see any of them, but they're starting to crop up now. So
Indiegogo have only got themselves to thank for that, for their little dodgy practices as of late.
I mean, it's working because they've got 87 backers. That's equates to $4,239.50, and they're 57% funded, and they've still got the bulk of their crowdfunding campaign to go. So
well played, guys. Well played.
Should definitely go and check out AR13L, the Little Mermaid.
That's a great.
Here's the link in the live chat. Oh, he's called Stabastian.
Because we've got a knife. Yeah.
The crowd looks like he's on crack. Yeah, definitely does.
Probably.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah, you missed his best comment. Go up one. Go up.
What did he say? You know what's really cool though? Bristolian Dave.
He is.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
We've got one last one. So
yes,
over
we do.
to where's he gone? Over to Justin for the Mythicals.
Yeah. The Mythicals issue 1 is a comic by South River Studios. The man himself we had on the stream a little while back, and he was a really nice guy. And the trailer he played was fantastic, especially where the stops and goes a pew pew bit, which had me in stitches. The campaign itself has been massively successful. At the time of this stream, unless it's changed, he's raised $6,976. Is that?
Yeah, $6,976.
Yeah. So the update I received today, because I backed this book, because it just looks awesome. They are closing the campaign on Saturday night, and they have received the print files and will have a copy soon, because I believe Hojo did say he was not going to do late books, which was another reason I have backed this, because I am pissed off with late books, hence something I've said earlier. But this one, it looked brilliant. Yeah, Pete's cover there is fucking awesome. I like that.
Pete's been in the chat and check that.
Pete, I love your art, mate. I wish I was you some days so I could draw. But alas, I am the writer. But yeah, I loved the sound of this book. Usually I'll be a bit weary about backing books that multiple parts and you've got to wait some time to get them. But with this one, it just swayed me like the previous entry we talked about. So I'm happy to support creators like this if they're going to do good stories and get them out in a timely manner, because that's one of the biggest things I think that's letting down crowdfunded comics is the constant delays in getting these books out. Yeah, especially those that are 2 to 3 years fucking late. So yeah, I look forward to getting my copy of this and the other one we mentioned. and I wish them well with their future endeavours because they are very promising creators.
Did you say this one was shut? He was closing it Saturday. Did you say?
Yes, Saturday.
Right. I need to back this thing because I still haven't backed it yet.
Mm.
So I need to get that because I want that book because it looks really
Yeah,
cool.
then that means you'll get into the $7,000 mark, Dave.
Yeah. And then I could post on Twitter and be like, "Look who got you in $7,000."
Yeah.
So that's a good point to transition because speaking of late books, we've got our next segment.
I still wish it was Brad Pitt from Seven. What's in the box?
Yeah, we need to update that. That's
Come on, you got to do that.
Yeah. Okay, today's the day. Well, actually, Monday was not Monday. Friday was the day. It's Monday today. So, Taylor has arrived. Yay! So we're gonna do a bit of a live unboxing today because I've received a delivery. In fact, I received 2 deliveries made up of 6 boxes. And what happened was the delivery drivers brought me 1 box labeled 6 of 6. And I looked at him like he was nuts. I was like, "You telling me there are 60 books in 1 box?" And he said, "Oh, maybe there's some on another van." So he just disappeared. And I was very worried for a moment that he just left with 50 of my backer's books on his van. But a couple hours later, another van arrived with 5 other boxes on it. And
what was the delivery company?
Why am I blanking on the name?
DHL.
No, the other one.
Every?
Yeah, Every.
I'll tell you in
DPD?
a minute. DPD, that's the one.
Yeah.
DPD.
If it was Every, I was going to say I weren't surprised because as my wife has informed me, there's a joke around Every's name because every other parcel disappears.
That's true.
Yeah, I think I've experienced that myself.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of a live unboxing and we're going to check out these books as fresh as can be, straight out of the packaging.
All right.
So
Minty
You
fresh.
guys-
Give them a sniff, mind.
give them a sniff. Oh, it'd be
Yeah.
nice if we had smell-o-vision on this channel. Maybe in the next bargain bin update we'll unlock that to that next level. Okay, remember kids, basic scissor safety. Cut away from you.
But don't hold the blade like that because you might cut your hand.
Okay, let's take a look. So we got free bubble wrap that is flat.
Crap.
But other than the flat bubble wrap, we've got some very cool bookage in here. Check
Ooh.
that out.
How
That's
shiny.
the event. It is very shiny. It is reflecting the light
Shiny.
crazy right now. Yeah, that is
Love
a good looking book. And we'll do the
Beautiful.
smell test. Oof, that smells disgusting, like fresh out.
Oh God.
But yeah, it's looking great. I'm in the dark right now, but I know from previous experience that the print quality on these books is amazing. We've sorted the paper issue that took us a while to fix, and it's now a much easier to read comic book. Here's a sneak peek of another page featuring some of your beloved CG UK characters. And yeah, here's a quick sneak peek at the bonus section. So this is it. The books are here. Well, I should specify the books for the UK and the international backers outside of the US are here because I'll be doing all that fulfillment. Once these have all gone out, then RJ will be fulfilling the US only backers. And we'll be doing a separate print run for him then in the United States. So everyone in the UK and Europe and elsewhere in the world, you've got this to look forward shortly. So
yes.
I'll be honest with you all, we're waiting for one print run to arrive from Mixam, and then we're going into fulfillment. But that should be here within the week. And the campaign is still, the updates are still working, so I will let you know as soon as that's here. And we'll be looking to make some live streams as well for the actual fulfillment of this book. So, yeah, I'll do my best to keep you all up to date. TLS is on its way.
Yeah.
Here we go.
That looks sick, man. I can't wait to get it.
Yeah. Look forward to this one.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's about time. I'm excited to get the fulfillment done and to move on to my next project, but also just to see the reaction from everyone. I hope everyone enjoys it. And what's Mike saying? Stick some pumpkin tailors in there to cover the smell. Yeah, and it would if I did so. Ooh, check that out. There we go. Don't eat it, Justin. I know it's tempting. Don't eat it.
I'll tell you what. Still smells of pumpkin spice.
The walls smell of pumpkin spice. My whole room smells of pumpkin spice.
I'll be sitting there going, the walls are melting.
Good. I'm looking forward to you receiving it, Tom. What was our last? It was what are we reading this week, but we don't have an overlay.
No, I didn't get time to do one this week, unfortunately. So
I've got the cover of what I'm reading because I'm reading it on my Kindle. I can showcase here.
Digital book.
He's digital. What's wrong with you, Justin?
That's not paper.
So that's the cover of it. I'll put it in close. So it's basically a book that's written on how to write detective noir stories. Because one thing I'd always wanted to do was to write such a story where it's like a first-person perspective, where the guy is talking in a gravelly voice and he says, "I'm walking down the street. It's dark. I think I'm being followed." I wanted to write something like that because I'd read another book on writing by a guy called James Scott Bell. He's a very famous sort of pulp fiction writer, and I fell in love with the idea and wanted to do something like that, but in a sci-fi setting. So that's what I'm currently working on at the moment, and I've almost hit 30,000 words in the current manuscript. So I read books like that, sort of give me extra ideas and new perspectives on how to approach these things. And there's a very good bit in there as well on the whole femme fatale characters in these sorts of books, which are pretty much a staple in any sort of noir detective story. So I always, even though you think you've learned everything in writing, there's always something new around the corner you can look at. And for me, I found that book, what I need to read into this. So there it is.
Yeah. That's cool. I know you were talking about doing your writing channel a while ago. We could do with that in the community is writing advice.
First of all, I'm not one to give advice because I'm still very much learning myself. I can perhaps tell stories of stuff I've done, things I've written. I can even read out samples, maybe. But I just don't know if anyone would be interested in it because every man and his dog has got a fucking YouTube channel now where you talk their writing advice. And at the moment, I'm still kind of building my brand up. So I don't know if anyone would be interested in it. If there was an interest, I'd probably get a decent mic to do it with. And maybe have guests on to talk about it. But I'd do it if enough people were interested. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Maybe something for the future.
Yeah, maybe.
Very cool. I'll show you what I've been reading, which I've been reading for a while because it's 2 books. It starts with 2001: A Space Odyssey by Arthur C. Clarke, which is pretty quintessential sci-fi. This book is one of the best novels that I've read ever. I absolutely just devoured this novel. It was so good. It is really good, realistic science fiction. It's essentially all about man's first contact with extraterrestrial life and how they influenced our evolution. But this book has also got some really interesting history because it was actually written. It's written by Arthur C. Clarke, but it was written at the same time Stanley Kubrick was writing the movie of the same title, and they were actually working with one another to write these two projects. But despite that, there are differences between the two. Like, for example, in the book, they go to Saturn. In the movie, they go to Jupiter. But what is really weird then is that the sequel that I'm currently reading, 2010 Odyssey 2, has events that happen in it based on the movie, not the book, which is really frustrating for me because the book was a far better experience than the movie.
Yeah.
I don't think you can. Dave, have you watched this one?
Yeah, I like the movie.
Were you on drugs when you watched it?
Probably. It was a little while ago. So it's been a long time since I've seen it.
I don't think you can get full experience of this movie unless you are on LSD.
I've seen that, but I have very little memory of it. But I've seen 2010, and I think it was a better movie than people give it credit. Not only because I'm a fan of Roy Scheider, but there's also that bit where he's on the bridge and he's talking to Hal, and there's messages coming in, and he says, "Who's sending these messages, Hal?" And Hal goes, "Look behind you," and you just think, "Shit!" And then he looks around and sees Bowman standing there. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's it's a really good book, but I think it suffers from taken after the movie, not the first novel. And it also does this really annoying thing where if anyone hasn't read it, the space baby who is on the cover, he's sort of this omnipotent godlike being, and him being a main character in the book really undoes a lot of the mystery that the first one set up. Maybe I shouldn't go into it too much further, but when the first book dealt with all human characters, so you only knew as much as they knew, but the space baby, or the Star Child he's called, takes away that experience. So 2010 is a very different book to 2001. So I've just about finished this. I'm just reading the afterword now, and I'll get on to watching the sequel movie 2010, the year we make contact. So yeah, that is the first two books in the Odyssey collection. And Mike says, "How dare you spoil this old movie?"
Sorry, Mike.
You've had your chance. Mike is saying, "I was probably daydreaming when it was mentioned. Has anybody got a campaign in CG UK?" I don't know. Does anyone?
We got, well, Goose is on his sign up.
Goose,
yeah. Goose, launch the damn book, will you?
Charlie's is in demand still. Mark's in demand still. That's Krishna Kid. I think Mortal, what's his face?
World.
World, yeah. He's got one coming out soon.
Yeah. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I've seen it posting. Peep has one coming soon.
Oh, I've not seen anything of Peep for ages.
Guys in the chat, we need to make a whole stream on indie comics. So let us know what UK indie comics are out there that maybe we've not thought of. I know most of us are in that group chat. Send us the links so that we can make a show out of it. We'd really appreciate that. It'd make our lives easier when we've got to plan these shows.
We should do that. Like, at one point, dedicate a good chunk of the show to
just
UK indie comics and just find a load of these campaigns that no one might have seen, or these stores or whatever. In regards to what I'm reading, I won't do comics because obviously we all read comics there. I've started reading Justin's book, Escape from Crescendo Station. You can see. Got me
Nah,
bookmark in there.
you got the authentic version without the sound effects.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to finishing that one. Enjoying it so far. And then after that, I'll plan on reading Matthew Perry's autobiography, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. I feel like it's going to be quite depressing because it's like goes through all his issues he's had, his addiction and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, I can prep myself for that. And then I picked up a book at the car boot on the weekend, which I want to read soon. And that is Rob Lowe's autobiography, because I like Rob Lowe. I think he's a cool dude. He's a good actor. That was 50p. So you'll see that in one of my updates when I put it on my channel. But yeah, so that's a couple of books. And then I have, to be honest, like with movies, I've got a lot of unread books. I've probably got around 50, 60 books I haven't read. It's a big list. Big list. Some are autobiographies, some a story. I went through a phase of collecting a load of Terry Brooks stuff. You know, the Shannara Chronicles. I still want to get the full lot so I can read them all in order of release. It's going to take a while because there's a lot.
Do you also take the covers off and put them in sleeves, Dave?
No.
I can tell you a little snippet about Crescendo Station before we finish.
Don't ruin it.
No, it's not about story. With my books in the past, I have dedicated them to people I know who've either supported me or throughout my writing journey, or someone who's meant something to me in my life. And with Crescendo Station, it was dedicated to a man I used to work with and his wife, because when I talk about my writing on our break times, he'd always take an interest and would always be very encouraging when I sort of told him the kind of sci-fi stories I wanted to tell. But usually they'd be ones involving either like working class people or ordinary people in extraordinary situations. And I gave him a copy of the book, and when he saw that I dedicated it to him and his wife, he was blown away. I've never seen him react like that. And that was just before Christmas. And shortly after Christmas, I got this in the mail, where he wrote me this lovely note inside thanking me for doing so. And as a result, this card now sits on my desk as another little reminder to keep going, because you may think you're going to fail and flop, but you've got examples like that as your bits of encouragement. So to this side of my desk, I've got a pile of the books that I've written as a reminder of what I've done. And then I've got this card over here as a way of saying, keep going. So I treasure that card very much.
Oh, that's nice. It's really nice.
Let's say hello to some people we missed in the chat. We got Stentalatus Jan. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us, dude. We said hello to Shane, didn't we? We're good to see you, Shane.
Hey, Shane.
Tree Goblin's joining us as well. Good to see you,
Fellow
Goose is
Bristolian.
saying, was looking to get more signups before launch, but I might have to get this out of the way so I can get on to part 2. So it might be launching very soon.
Looking forward to it.
Speaking of Gustav, I will be with Hex Allen this weekend streaming. So I know we all love Hex Allen, so check out that stream when it goes live.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for today's show, guys. Remember, everyone in the chat, we appreciate you so much for showing up and
thank you.
us and being active in the chat. Let us know what UK indie books we can talk about maybe next week, maybe shortly afterwards. And yeah, guys, it's been lovely seeing you tonight. Any last words before we call this a stream?
Take care, and we'll see you all next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Okay,
Fuck up.
Fucked up.
Bargain bin, let's see what crowd is in. Baba Dave and his hair, he's old man, but please don't stare. Alright, he's on the bargain bin. Now this just in, it's just in. I'm the guy who just snuck in. He takes a joke, he just don't care. He's a regular gummy bear. New boy, here on the bargain bin. Bonus section, it's area black. For the furries, he's got your back. Along with Neve, that rhymes with Steve. Can she weave? She'll knit you a sleeve. Whoa, they're on the bargain bin. It's on Monday night. If you're lucky, it's on time. It's a pile of shite, but to miss it is a crime. Just out the gate, it's Rob GP. He's not a dog, but he'll make you pee. Up for a laugh, he'll laugh at oat. If it falls flat, he'll get his coat. Whoa, we are the bargain bin. You heard the bargain bin, huh? This is the bargain bin.